Hello, good morning. My name is Father Rayappa. Today I'm going to talk about ecosystem services. We live in an ecosystem and we benefit hundreds of services free of charge. Ecosystem provides free service. We don't pay a dollar or a rupee in exchange for the services. Actually, there are four types of services ecosystem provide. One is called supporting services. Another one is called provisioning services. The third one is regulating services. The fourth one is cultural services. So let's see what is supporting services mean. Actually, ecosystems support. There are hundreds of species of plants and animals. We depend on them for food, so it supports food web. We take plants, we take animals, the people those who eat. Vegetarian are called herbivore. They depend entirely on vegetables, fruits, and nuts. So the biodiversity provides them. And there are non-vegetarian consumers. They are known as carnivore. Of course, biodiversity provides the food, non-vegetarian food like chicken, the sheep, cattle, pigs. And another service, supporting service, is photosynthesis. And only animals, especially plants, can produce food. That is, they're known as primary producers. They capture energy from the sun and they use water and carbon dioxide to create food or sugar. And it is called photosynthesis. So photosynthesis becomes the foundation for the food web from which herbivore, carnivore, omnivore, they draw their food and sustenance. So the photosynthesis is a supporting service. And then comes soil formation. And we can't create soil. Obviously, soil is a non-renewable resource. To create 1 inch of soil, it takes 10,000 years for nature to produce it. And soil is produced through the process called weathering, the weathering of rocks. They can be weathered by air, water, roots of the plants, even ants, even the organisms. They grind and grind and grind, they make soil. So it's all free. For these services, we never ever pay. That is supporting services. And provisioning services or grouped into wood and pollination and fish and temperature and control of flood and etc., etc. The provisioning services are done by soil, water, air. Water provides fish. 82% of the fish already extinct in the ocean. Only 18 to 20% of the fish stocks remain. And the water provides an enormous amount of protein to humans. So that is a provisioning service. And then forest, the timber, wood, and other resources, we depend on forest. So it's a provisioning service. And pollination. Humans can never do pollination, only bees and insects, they do that. And I think that is the provisioning service because through pollination we get rice, maize, wheat, fruits, nuts, vegetables. The whole food web depends on pollination and the temperatures. and the nature constantly adjusts the temperatures. When it's too hot, it employs, probably brings ice ages. When it is ice age, too cold, it brings volcanic eruptions. And everyday climate changes because Earth interacts. So it provides the provision service. Very, very beautiful. And comes regulating services. What is the regulating services? For example, controlling flood, purify water, store carbon, and clean air, like that. So we need control of flooding. Soil provides it, and rocks. Naturally, they establish a barrier in order to stop flooding. At the ocean floor, not ocean floor, at the seacoast, we see naturally there are mangrove forests. It's called Sundarbans. Half of the plant will be in water, half of the plant will be on the surface. So this is called control of flooding. When tsunami comes, these plants naturally protect humans from flooding. So it's all done naturally. There is no military, there is no soldiers coming and saving nature. Can do that job beautifully. And it purifies water. It regulates. So much of water is being polluted, especially in Chennai, Kuvam. It's a sewage, but that water is being recycled and the soil purifies and it regulates the purity of the water. And also it regulates by taking carbon from the atmosphere. It regulates beautiful temperatures. And there are 3 carbon sinks. We know that one is forest, the trees. The second one is ocean. The third one is soil. These are the 3 biggest carbon sinks. When you put carbon into atmosphere, these 3 sinks, they absorb carbon from the atmosphere and thus keep the balance in the atmosphere. So it's all done for free of charge, and clean air. And the plants, they take up carbon dioxide and they emit oxygen, which humans can use, and humans emit carbon dioxide, which plants can use. So this is regulating services. And at last, we also have cultural service. Ecosystems provide cultural service. What is that? Aesthetic perspective, recreational perspective, educational perspective. All of you see, people spend so much money for vacation, ecotourism. That is the magical word. In the modern times, people spend millions and millions of dollars to go to see mountains, rivers, wildlife, flora and fauna. It's the biggest industry on the planet Earth. So it is entertainment and aesthetic and also recreational, and people go for fun, for swimming, they go for whitewater rafting, and they go for hiking, they go for camping, all these kinds of stuff, recreation. And also it has got educational service, and people can learn from nature. All wisdom comes from nature, you know that. And because they came before humans, and they can teach us. Actually, in the book of Job, chapter 12, Job talks that we can learn from nature. Ask the mountains, they will teach you. Ask the birds of the air, they will tell you. Ask the fishes of the sea, and they will instruct you. So a lot of wisdom in nature, and our children and even adults can learn from nature. Every day we learn from nature because nature is full of wisdom. And at last, also spiritual service. Nature provides spiritual, and people go to meditate. And in India, we know that many people in the past, especially during axial age, that is 500, 600 years before Christ. Mahavira, Buddha, Zoroaster, all of them went to the forest to meditate, to get enlightenment. Buddha was enlightened in Bodh Gaya. Mahavir was enlightened in Vaishali, present Bihar. And Zoroaster was enlightened in the desert. Even Jesus was enlightened in the desert, and Muhammad was enlightened in the desert. So there is a spiritual service nature can provide, ecosystems can provide for us. So please remember, ecosystem services are free of charge. They come in 4 packages. One is a supporting service, another one is a provisioning service, another one is a regulating service, another one is a cultural service. So enjoy ecosystems, and you are also part of an ecosystem, and we should also give back. It is not right to take from ecosystems all the time, take, and we can give it back, because we are also an ecosystem, which is known as human ecology. So we have gifts within us. As the ecosystem have resources, humans also have resources deep within our consciousness, like kindness, empathy, compassion, love, generosity, nobility, tolerance. All this stuff we can give to ecosystem. And when you show empathy and compassion, I think ecosystems can understand that they could use that. When you show empathy and compassion, I mean not to throw waste, not to waste water, not to use excessive energy, not to pollute our atmosphere, not to throw chemicals in the water. So this is called human ecology, and we can do it, and we can live happily, and ecosystem can also live happily. Thank you, and God bless. Goodbye.